In this knife talk video, we're going to be looking at the Great Eastern Cutlery Titty number 25 Little Barlow. And this one was rehandled by Birdvis Knives, and I'm not going to talk too much about that specifically in this video because I'm going to do another video on both of the knives that I had customized by him or modified. These two here, so Queen Hunter and this knife. So this one's more about the 25 pattern specifically. There were some viewers who are interested in the 25 pattern. I know the one E. Hudster, or E. Hudster on Instagram. I knew he was interested in the 25 pattern and wanted to get my thoughts on it. So doing this specifically about the 25 pattern, I've had a few knives on this pattern. This one is a spear point. It was originally in unicorn ivory acrylic, which GEC had a lot of trouble with. I think they only got about 50% of the knives that they had planned to make through production because they had trouble with the handle material. It was cracking and things like that. So I got this one at the Rendezvous last year in 2017, and as you can see right there, it is a store model. So this one started pulling apart and kind of having all kinds of issues, so that's why I had it rehandled and everything. But I like the 25 pattern, and for a few reasons. It is a small knife, so it definitely will fit, you know, in your watch pocket. It's not going to take up too much room in your pocket or anything like that. Easy to carry, but I feel like it cuts and is able to handle cutting tests above its size. So you can do more with it than you might expect for being a pretty small knife. I've used this knife for all kinds of different things, and it cuts well. It has a nice thin edge. This one, as you can see, is a spear point. The spear point that they used on this run is a little bit more of an angled spear point. It has a little bit more abrupt of a belly, but they have done other spear points. I had a Northwoods version of this knife that was a little bit more of a kind of a typical spear point, and it was in Stag. Really nice knife. I just sold it. I actually sold it and then bought it back, and then sold it and then bought it back, and then I think sold it and haven't bought it back since then. Don't know who owns it now, but really like the pattern. I think I've just never really found the exact one for me. I would really like to find one in stainless, I think. But it not only does it cut above its size, but I think that for being a really small knife, for being a really short knife, it's about 2 1/4, maybe 2.5 inches closed. It feels more substantial in your hand than you would expect. So, you know, I can get a solid 3-finger grip on it, as you can see, and especially in this grip, which this is really the grip that you do most of your cutting in, you know, cutting like this. It feels good in the hand because it's a little bit wider in this direction. It fills the hand and you can use it, and it doesn't feel like you're kind of, you know, trying to cut with a toothpick or something like that. So I like that. I also like that they do it in a little Barlow version, which again, that's what this is because it has the longer bolster. I think that it's kind of a cool little Barlow. A lot of other smaller Barlows are really, you know, kind of slender, and that's fine. I mean, I like small, slender knives also, but I think that it gives it kind of a uniqueness, and it's part of the reason why there's kind of a lot of people who like this 25 pattern. I've even seen some custom makers kind of emulating this pattern, and also there's like a modern slip joint version of this pattern now from some company. So I think it's for good reason that people like it. It's a very sturdy seeming little knife for such a little knife. They've made them in sheep's foot, and you know, that's a very classic Barlow or jackknife blade shape. They've made them in clip points, drop points. They've made them in Warncliffe, so lots of different options. The problem is recently, actually the last 2 runs of these knives, I believe, they've only made spear points. So I had one from the run before this, the 2016 run, I think, in ebony, and I think I traded it or something, but those were also spear points, I believe. And again, really nice knives. I just think that I'd really like to find one in stainless. I think that this would be a cool little knife to have in stainless, be able to use. Like I use this to cut up fruit a lot, and it did well with that. And I think I'd like to have it in stainless so that it, you don't have to worry about it rusting and everything. Let's see what else about this. These, I don't think on any of the runs of the 25s I've heard of them having bad action, like too light springs or like way too strong springs. They tend to have good action. I think it's a well-designed pattern. This one, after being rebuilt, has nice snap. It had good action when I got it too. And I remember both of the other 25s that I had good action. So I think that they really have this pattern down. They have done at least 3 runs of them, probably more. So they make them well. It's similar, they certainly don't do them as often as they do the 25 pattern, but similar in the sense that they know how to make these right. They know how to get the pull right. They know how to get the centering right. And you can pretty much be sure that when you get a GEC 25, you're going to get a well-built knife that's really rounded out and going to work well. So if you are interested in the GEC 25, I do think that they will run these again. I get the feeling that they're going to run these every year, like the 15s, maybe once a year, and then the 15s in a bigger run once a year. But I do think that they will run these pretty regularly. So you can look on the secondary market, but a lot of them are higher priced. These came in at between, I think in the 2016 run, there were some for the high $50 or low $60 range, up to, if it's stag, 90 some, I think, for a single blade. They have done 2 blades, by the way. They've done ones with drop point and clip point secondary blades, so those were pretty cool too. But they're usually not too expensive. If you buy them, on the primary market from dealers. I would expect it to be, between $75 and $85 usually, maybe $75 to $100 if they do a run next year. But so like I say, if you have a specific handle material or blade combination or blade shape that you're looking for, certainly you can try to find them online. They do pop up and stuff. But otherwise, if you just like to get one because you like the pattern, I would, wait till GEC's next production schedule comes out and see if they're going to be making another run of them here in the near future. So like I say, I like the 25 pattern. I think it's a sturdy, stout feeling knife for its size, and one that cuts well for its size also. And look out for the video that I do on this knife in its current state. I don't know if I'll post this video first or the other one, but if you see this video and would like to know more about why this one doesn't look like other GEC 25s, we'll look out for my video on the Birdvis modified knives that I have. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, hit the like button. You can also leave any comments, questions that you have. I'm happy to answer those if I can. And if you'd like to get notifications for my other videos, you can subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, don't forget to go out and do good.